The reload animation for the ray gun takes exactly 2.980 seconds. This is so useless. Why would anyone ever need to know this fact ever? Also, if a player's on Kino der Toten and they go down, the Mustang and Sallies that they get will not have a Pack-a-Punch camo on them. I thought every packed gun had a Pack-a-Punch camo on it, but I guess not. There's plenty more useless facts in the rest of this video, including random Thunder Gun facts and how Treyarch accidentally made a big mistake with a perk. Let's continue. Right here on 5, there's actually an unusable ray gun on this table. Not sure why you would need to know that though, because, well, you can't use it. Speaking of the ray gun, on the Wii version of Kino der Toten, the ray gun Pack-a-Punch camo is black and orange, instead of the normal red and blue like it is on consoles and PCs. In first-person view, the ray gun Mark II is held like an SMG, but if you're viewed in third person, it's held like a pistol. Not sure why it's different. Something else about the Mark II is that the magazine size is 21 rounds, and there's 162 shots in reserve, but 162 is not divisible by 21. So if the player fires all of their reserve ammo, they end up with 15 shots for literally no reason. It's not even a full clip. Why can't they just add 6 more shots? In Mob of the Dead, if the ray gun runs out of ammo and the player attempts to shoot it, this weird noise is played everywhere around the map. Did you know the original 4 perks were not original ideas from Treyarch? The machines are all based off of old vending machines from real life. Juggernog looks like this old Coca-Cola machine, Speed Cola resembles an old 7-Up machine, Quick Revive's an old Pepsi 5-cent machine, and Double Tap is an old 6-cent Coca-Cola machine. Another real life thing is that proning in front of perk machines and getting points from it actually references people finding change under a vending machine in real life. I never really thought about that, but it actually kind of makes sense. Mule Kick, however, does not give 100 points for proning in Zetsubo no Shima, because it's partially submerged in water, so the player can't even prone. In Kino der Toten, if subtitles are enabled, when loading into the map, the game will spell Richthofen as Richtofan. This is actually kind of funny. Speaking of misspellings, on the teaser poster for the Resurrection DLC, Derice is spelled Derise. It's pretty crazy how they could miss something like that. Another mistake made is on World at War Nocturne Toten, where this Thompson Wallbuy says that it costs 1500 points, but when the player buys it, they only get charged 1200. I wonder how this also never got fixed. This body hanging in the starting room on Shinonuma can actually be knocked down with grenades. However, if a player goes close to it, they'll die and cause the game to be over. Poor Peter McCain. In the Ascension teaser poster, Dempsey is shown holding the Wunderwaffe, but the weird part is, the Wunderwaffe isn't in Ascension, so why was it in the teaser poster? Same goes for Takio and how he's holding the Winter's Howl in the same poster. That also isn't in Ascension. I wonder if Ascension was supposed to be a bigger and more expansive map than what we got. Or maybe they just needed assets for the poster. But let's be honest, who even looks at these things anyway? Speaking of the Winter's Howl, it can be fired through this glass on 5 without shattering it. I'm not sure how this is possible because last time I checked, glass is solid. If a monkey bomb is thrown out of the map, the announcer will just laugh at the player and the monkey won't work. This one requires a little math here. The Thunder Gun gives the player 50 points for a single kill, but each additional kill keeps giving less and less points. For example, when I kill 1 zombie, I get 50 points, but if I kill 5 zombies, I only got 110 points for that. If it was 50 points per kill, then shouldn't I get more points than that? Speaking of the Thunder Gun, if you look closely, it actually has visible iron sights, but obviously when the player tries to zoom in, it's impossible. Unless the player looks at themselves in third person on BO3. That's right, if the player tries to zoom in with the Thunder Gun and are viewed in third person, their character will look like they're zooming in with it. Too bad we rarely see ourselves in third person in zombies. Moving to another wonder weapon, am I the only one that never realized the jet gun doesn't give you points? I must be crazy, but the reason that it does this is because technically it's an equipment and not a regular weapon. This is also the reason as to why it can't be pack-a-punched. Something else that can't be pack-a-punched or even upgraded is this liquefier. And something weird about this is that the player holds the gun opposite in third person. Normally it's held with the left hand in front of the ammo container, but in third person, the left hand is behind it. Pretty weird. Something else to know about this liquefier is that there actually was an upgrade to it. It's in the game files as slipgun_upgraded_ZM, and the upgraded gun was going to be called this. Apparently it would have had goo that lasted 2 times as long. Too bad it was never added to the actual map. On Buried, a player can fly too high with the paralyzer and hit invisible walls. And if the player does this, they'll hear a character quote.
What did I just bang into?
If the player melees with an upgraded staff, they obviously use it to melee with. But if they get looked at in third person, they actually knife with their knife, not the staff. I guess there's no animation for the upgraded staff knife. Another fact about Origins is that the lightning staff specifically doesn't start with full ammo when it's picked up for the first time. The player can immediately reload when they pick it up. I wonder why this is. Also, if a player with the upgraded staff pulls out the Sekhmet's Vigor, in third person, it looks like the player is holding a double-ended staff. But when the Vigor's put away, the normal staff reappears. What the heck? Did anyone else realize that the Wrath of the Ancient's bow has the same exact fire sound as the fire staff from Origins does? Speaking of Der Eisendrache, this map is actually based off of a real-life castle. It's called the Hohenwerfen Castle, and it's located in Austria. In the trailer for Gerard Krovi, at this point, 2 Raygun Mark IIIs are seen cycling through the mystery box instead of a single Mark III and a GKZ-45. Makes you think if the wonder weapon was changed last minute. Speaking of the GKZ, it's one of the only wonder weapons in Zombies that doesn't get the map's typical Pack-a-Punch camo when it's upgraded. Instead, it gets this. When the player runs into a perk machine, they hear the sounds of glass bottles moving, just like how they would expect them to be if it was real life. Speaking of perks, unusable Juggernog, Double Tap, Speed Cola, and Quick Revive bottles can be seen in this glass case in the Kino der Toten spawn. If only we could use these somehow. According to character quotes, Deadshot Daiquiri has a really sweet taste, and apparently it's the best tasting perk in Zombies. The only characters who don't like it are Nikolai and Dempsey. Speaking of Deadshot Daiquiri, even if a player disables aim assist in the settings, it won't stop this perk from working, and it will still snap to the heads of the zombies. Only on controller, obviously. When finding a new perk on BO3 Shinonuma, Quick Revive is shown cycling through with all of the other perks. But Quick Revive's already in the spawn, so it can never even be there in the first place. So why is it cycling through? Der Riese was based on a real German research facility in Poland. The real Der Riese was almost completely underground, and there's a conspiracy that it was the development site of one of the Nazis' wonder weapons called the Die Glock, which was apparently supposed to facilitate teleportation and time travel. I wonder if that actually exists. Speed Cola was originally going to be called Sleight of Hand Soda. This is so useless though because no matter what it's called, it still would have done the exact same thing. The only reason we know this though is because the bottles in BO1 actually read Sleight of Hand Soda. People wonder if Treyarch left this in on purpose, or they made a mistake by not fixing it. The Call of the Dead Speed Cola machine looks like it's floating because it's located in the water. Literally everything else still works about the perk, so this is pointless information. More pointless information is that if the player gets anywhere but here on BO3 Verrückt, they can teleport to the other spawn room without opening any doors. Too bad this has literally no benefit whatsoever. Thank you for watching, and watch another video.